Roblox is a weird platform. The games are all free, of vastly varying quality, and tend to quickly form diehard fandoms. This leads to a strange ecosystem that tends to favor games with simple gameplay loops, recognizable visuals, and characters ripe for a fandom to grow around. This has led to a certain category of games that feel engineered to cultivate that type of fandom, the one that cares more about having recognizable characters than actual competent gameplay. This basically just echoes the state of mascot horror, which, if you know anything about that, it's rough. Speaking of mascot horror, there is a game that perfectly represents the amalgamation of the worst parts of everything I've talked about. That game is Dandy's World. Whilst the reputation for Dandy's World in its current state is down the gutter because of recent events, it hasn't always been this way. For a long time, and even somewhat now, the game had die-hard defenders. One of the biggest consistent problems of Roblox as a whole is somebody releasing a mediocre game with bare-bones mechanics and claiming it to be alpha, then releasing insubstantial updates every week or two and calling it a day, never truly improving the core of the game. This certainly works though, as in the case of Dandy's World, the core gameplay loop is pretty much exactly the same as it was a year ago, leading itself to be a game that feels very stale and repetitive after just a couple of runs. Despite that, people would really defend the game non-stop because updates were coming out consistently, even if they were almost nothing. Then, a moderately big update drops, and people are shocked and super excited. It's just a constant loop of releasing mediocre content for people to make videos on, have them complain, eventually a decent update comes out, and people are happy. It's just weaponized mediocrity at its finest. I'm sure not every game intends to be like this. Dandy's World in specific weaponizes its mediocrity in a way no other game really does, leading to an experience that feels egregiously corporate and entirely soulless. Now that gets us to the main reason I made this video. A new game you've probably heard of, Animal Hospital. Oh, never mind, Papa's making a video with the same premise. I'm gonna delete my channel now. Bye! Despite making a video about why I'm not a fan of the game, I don't quite hate it. It's for sure nowhere near the level of Dandy's World in terms of design issues, it's just incredibly mediocre. Animal Hospital is an incredibly simple game. You check in patients, close the door on anomalies, heal those patients, repeat, with some variants via custom events and a couple different types of hospital minigames. This isn't inherently bad, but the game is definitely quite boring and repetitive, with a rare variation. There are different anomalies that appear as you get further, but those would consist of simple mechanics like run away until they disappear, don't look at them, don't get close to them. Really not all that unique, which doesn't make for a particularly pleasant experience. The that's not my neighbor style gameplay where you check in patients and shut out others is definitely the worst aspect. You just check their name, take a picture, shut them out if the picture's wrong or they look visibly cursed, then give them a key card. This just really echoes that generic PlayStation style Roblox game that's been going around recently, or like that one shawarma stand game. Like, there's just nothing to it. The only really interesting mechanic is the rare occasion when one of the animals isn't fully cursed looking, but is still an anomaly. Those can only be seen by the camera, where they have a more monstrous form. This mechanic doesn't exist on its own though, as your cameras can also be broken by another entity, leading you to fix it, adding a bit more mechanical complexity. It's not much, but I am happy to have at least that because it's interesting, even if it's not much. Aside from this incredibly simple loop, there's also mechanics revolving around healing the animals. These are both the most in-depth mechanics of the game and also some of the most boring. The loop is basically just scan for disease, wait, pick up healing item, give it to them, wait, repeat, wait some more. There is so much waiting, and it's like small little waits that build up over time and are just annoying more than anything else. Along with your egregiously slow movement speed, it's not fun. There are a few minigame type rooms, but all of those still revolve around waiting to see a diagnosis and picking up the items to heal them. The only difference is the fact of a small minigame tied to it, which does make it more interesting, like this one with the Simon Says machine or the surgery room where you're on a timer. That's probably the most fun one, but it's just because of how fast-paced it is, I guess. This and some anomalies for sure make the game more interesting, but it fundamentally still comes down to pressing a button to press another button, so you can once again press a button. I know you can make the argument that every game is like that, but Animal Hospital doesn't have the strategy that comes with other games, and it is just the same button. The amount of times you have to press E in this game, oh my gosh, it's actually insane. Overall, from a gameplay perspective, the game it's fine, it's serviceable. It's a game kids would enjoy, but definitely not much else. The real issue I have is the way in which it monetizes itself. This game was clearly originally just a slop game meant to harvest money before blowing up. That much was obvious, and many remnants of that version remain, such as the buyable gun or the paid classes. Yes, there are classes, and no, they don't change gameplay enough to matter in the slightest. They literally just give you little buffs. It's not like an actual class. They're more like Dead by Daylight perks than anything else. Back to the monetization, it's just a mess that leads to it feeling significantly cheaper, and obviously makes it incredibly harmful as a kid's game. That's why I'm like, when I was talking about it being a game that is serviceable for kids, I'm like, wait, but it has these egregious purchases, or it's like a mobile game basically. Animal Hospital is basically a mobile game. Like, if you're gonna heavily monetize a kid's game, I will judge you. There's also one other aspect of this game I have yet to mention. The final aspect I'd like to cover, the visuals. Oh my gosh, the visuals. Okay, these models are just straight up horrendous. There's no other way to go about it. These are what really throws me off. There's something about them that almost reaches the level of Uncanny Valley, but they don't go far enough, so they just look generic and weird, and not the good kind of weird. I'd love it if they leaned into the weirdness and went all into like that uncomfortable looking style, but instead they decided to make the designs more cutesy and rounded, which of course is more marketable even if it makes it feel more generic, because they want to cultivate that fandom. These new models are better, don't get me wrong, but they also contribute to the sheer genericism of this game. The singular design I actually kind of like is the intern, and it's surely because it just looks kind of dumb. Like, leaning into that funny design style would be way cooler than creating generic slop character number 8729. Except for Rathu, he's the greatest fictional character of all time, and you can't convince me otherwise. As a whole, for Animal Hospital, the best explanation of the game is that it is gamified office work. Also, I didn't come up with that concept, that was somebody in a Discord server, I'll show you the message. Animal Hospital is truly a travesty because the idea itself is interesting. That's Not My Neighbor was a really cool game that had a little bit missing, and this game does add that little bit, the hospital sections. The problem is with the execution. On that note, I myself am going to be throwing my hat in the ring and put my criticism to the test here, as I'm planning on making my own Animal Hospital inspired game, Dongedo instead of Roblox, except this time it's more focused on speed and movement. I'll have to keep you guys posted as I'm still in the early stages, but this should be interesting and hopefully fun. I'm not entirely sure it's going to be speed based, by the way. I might lean into horror, I'm kind of figuring out, but it's up for air. I'll be making devlogs on it soon. This was a bit of a smaller video to air out my grievances with the Roblox zeitgeist and Animal Hospital, but I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. My future videos should generally be less negative, as I don't really plan on talking about Roblox much anymore, and I'm about to talk about games I really love, like Indicopia, Resident Evil 2, more FNAF, and possibly even Shipwreck 64, so I would advise you to keep an eye out for that. On that note, if you enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe, and join my Discord.